Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be going through 2.1 Writing and Graphing Inequalities. If you were in class on Monday or Tuesday, we would have done exploration and 1 and 2 together. But for those of you that missed it, I am going to go back through that just to make sure that you know how to do them. So, what we are going to be doing on exploration 1A and B is we are going to read a statement, create an inequality, and then we are going to graph that inequality on a number line. So the statement is the temperature T in Sweden is at least negative 10 degrees Celsius. The three big things that we like to notice is the variable, so that would be T, the number that we're going to be using, and then the phrase at least. So right away, I know we're going to be comparing T and negative 10 because those are the only two things to compare. So now the only other thing we have to figure out is what does at least refer to? So I like to use things that we would actually deal with in real life. Because I don't know about you, but dealing with the temperature of Sweden, I don't really encompass that in my day-to-day life. But I know I've seen signs where it says you must be at least 14 years old. You must be at least 5 feet tall to be able to ride a roller coaster. You must be at least 16 years old to get a driver's license. You must have driven at least 60 hours prior to getting your driver's license. There's so many different things that use at least, and at least refers to the minimum. So that means we can't have anything less than that. And so minimum means you can be that amount, but you can't be anything less. So that means you have to be greater than or equal to. And so since we just said that that can mean you can have that amount, you're going to use a closed circle on your number line. And then because it is greater than, I'm going to go to the right and get bigger and bigger. And so a little trick that I like to use to help myself remember which way the line's going to go, if your variable is on the left side, mine currently is, you can draw a line that goes into your inequality symbol, and that's going to tell you the direction of your line. So that's the way my line went, and you can see that below. So now I want you to go ahead and pause here and see if you can try this one on your own. And so if you pause it and you just came back, you'll see that we used a closed circle, and then our line was going towards the negatives and going towards smaller numbers, because our symbol would have been less than or equal to. So at most, if you were stuck on that, think of an elevator. You can have at most 2,500 pounds. In a car that has 5 seats, you can have at most 5 people. There's so many different ways to think about it, but I can have 5 people in my car. That's totally fine, but I can also have less than that. All right, so now on B, we're given the graph, and now we have to write our inequality. So right away, the first thing I notice is we're using a closed circle. So since we're using a closed circle, I have to have the equal to sign under my inequality. Well, now my line is going to the right, and so if I draw my arrow like so, that's my inequality symbol. So it's going to be greater than. And then to figure out the number, well, that's just the number where the line starts. So for this one, that would be 1. And they told us to use x. So x is greater than or equal to 1. So now I'm going to do B with you, and then I want you guys to pause and try C and D on your own. So on B, you can see almost the same thing that we had the last time. Our line's going this way, we're at 1, but now all of a sudden we have an open circle. So that means that solution is not included. And so when we create our inequality, we're not going to have that equal to sign under there anymore. We're just going to have x is greater than 1. So a closed circle is going to be with greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. An open circle is going to be with greater than or less than. And so I want you to pause here and then try C and D on your own. So if you pause it here and you're just coming back, you'll see that we got x is less than or equal to 1. And then for D, x is less than 1. So how can you use an inequality to describe a real life statement? So this is when you're comparing two different things to say, okay, I don't have an exact amount, but it can go anywhere in between here. And so we are going to flip on over to the next page. So we're going to go on to page 31. And we're just going to practice writing some inequalities from words given and then from graphs given, or we'll just go from there. So 12 is greater than or equal to 5 times a number n. So as you can see, I already went through and I highlighted the things that stood out to me as I went through this, because I know 12, well, that's a number. So that's pretty important. Greater than or equal to, well, it literally told me what inequality symbol to use. And then 5 times a number n. So with multiplication, remember, you don't have to put the symbol. And so then that would be my inequality. And so let's do number 2 together and then pause for 3 and 4. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. 1/3 of a number h is less than 15. So there's a couple ways we can go about this one. So I have 1/3 of. Of means multiplication. So I'm going to have 1/3 times my h and then less than 15. You could leave it like this. That's totally acceptable. But I see that I can combine these two to make it a little bit more of a shorthand. So I'm going to have h over 3 is less than 15. Again, both of those answers are correct. That's totally up to you as to which one you would like to use. So pause here for 3 and 4 and go ahead and do those ones on your own. All right, so if you pause it and you're just joining back, number 3, 7 is less than or equal to q minus 6 because the word difference means subtraction. And then on number 4, u plus 14 is greater than 6 because the sum refers to addition. All right, so I'm going to do 5 with you and then pause so you can do 6. So on 5 and 6, all we're doing is taking what they tell us and we're going to plug it in for the variable and then see if it satisfies the inequality. So for this one, I have 19 minus 7, and I have to see if that is less than 12. 19 minus 7, well, that gives me 12. And I'm supposed to see if 12 is less than 12. No, so this would be not a solution. And pause here so you can do number 6 on your own. So as you can see, this one was a solution because 9 can be equal to 9. It doesn't have to be greater than. Okay, I'm going to do 7 with you. You're going to do 8 on your own. So 7, right away I see 3, so I'm going to find my 3. Then I see that it's greater than or equal to, so that means I have to include that 3 in my solution. And then I'm like, which way is my line going to go? Oh, it's going to get bigger then. And so then I draw my arrow. So pause here and do 8 on your own. If you're just joining me back, you'll see that on number 8, I found my 4. I saw that it was less than or equal to, so that's a closed circle. And then because it was less than or equal to, my line went to the left to the more negative side. All right, we're going to do 9 and 10. I'll do 9 with you. You do 10 on your own. So on 9, I can immediately see on this one that I am not going to have a closed circle. It is going to be open. And so I'm going to find that -1, put my circle, and then I'm like, which way is my line going to go? Oh, like that. So my line is going to get longer and go to the right. So pause here, go ahead and do 10 on your own. So if you're just joining back on number 10, it's an open circle and I'm going to the left. And so I'm going to do 11 and 12 with you, and then you will do 13 and 14 on your own. Open circle, which means I'm not going to use my less than or equal to or greater than or equal to sign. That's the way my line is going. So there is my symbol and my number is 1, and we're just going to use X. So X is greater than 1. Now we go back and we're going to do the same thing on number 12. So there it is. It's open. So that means no equal to sign underneath. My arrow of my line is going that direction. And so when I do that, I can see that that is my inequality symbol, which would be less than. So X is less than 0. Pause here and go ahead and do 13 and 14 on your own. So if you're just joining back, I have X is greater than or equal to -3, and then X is less than or equal to 3. And so this is everything that you need to know for 2.1. If you do have any questions, always reach out to me. Here is my email in case you need that again, because that is what I am here for. Don't forget about your homework on big ideas over 2.1. It is due Sunday. Have a wonderful day, guys.